it's Casey from the Lane Small Business Development Center, and today we're visiting Swallowtail Spirits in Springfield, a distillery of different liquors. We're going to meet with Kevin and find out what's new with them and what's happening in the future. So let's go see what they do. Swallowtail Spirits today, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what is in store for the future for Swallowtail.
So coming up next week, actually, we're starting our full production run of a whiskey that we're collaborating with Ninkasi Brewing to do. So we're going to take their Otis Oatmeal Stout. The stout is typically an Irish style beer, so we're going to turn that into an Irish style whiskey. We're changing the profile on it a little bit. We're taking their Otis Oatmeal Stout, but we're also imperializing it, so we'll get a bit of a more yield out of it, a higher percentage of alcohol, which will allow us to fill more barrels once it's done. Once we have that project aged, or those whiskeys aged, which is going to be about 2 to 3 years out, once we're done, we'll bottle the product, we'll give those whiskey barrels to Ninkasi, then they're going to barrel age their Otis Oatmeal Stout in those whiskey barrels as well, which is a very popular thing to do with breweries these days. So once that's done, then we'll have release parties of both the barrel conditioned beer and the whiskey that was made from that beer. Along with that, they also take all of their spent grain and give it to some of the local cattle ranches, and their cattle are fed with those spent grains. So then we'll also have a catering company come in who will provide meat that was fed with the spent grain that both the beer and the whiskey were made from.
Great. So can you tell us a little bit about what's happening here?
Yeah, so it's my friend Dante here. He's helping bottle our vodka right now. We have all of our bottles screen printed so that we don't have to worry about labeling. But we can put out about 100 cases of vodka in a day, and probably about the same with the gins. Gins just take a little bit longer for us to distill and keep doing, so we can, they'll take about 3 to 4 days of maceration and distillation to get the gins out, but we could also easily knock out 100 cases of those in a day if we wanted to. So we've got a new 6-line bottling run that helps us to meet those production goals.
Great. And then finally, what kind of help did you get from the Lane Small Business Development Center?
Initially, so I started with the vodka in November of 2014, kind of a proof of concept. I had started by doing home brewing and knew that it was I had a lot more batches of beer turn out bad than turned out good. So the next obvious step with that is to go into distillation and make whiskeys from those beers. So I started distilling. I had an idea to put out some of my own products. I was supported in that by quite a few of my friends. So came out with the vodka as a proof of concept and was doing pretty well with that. Needed to move into a larger scale production, and I just didn't want to run the company into the ground. So I had a lot of questions about the business model, the business plan, financial forecasting, production forecasting, and SBDC was really helpful, especially in getting the business plan finalized.
Then I had one more question. Where did you get the name Swallowtail?
So Swallowtail is actually the Oregon State butterfly. We wanted some way to link the product to the state. Crater Lake was already taken. Yeah. And not a lot of people know that the swallowtail is the Oregon State, well, technically the Oregon State insect, but so hopefully we're drawing a little bit more attention to that as well.